Happy Monday morning, Griffin McElroy.
TGIM, I think.
Okay, whatever. Do you want to hear about a game that is really good but has a really generic name?
Yeah, that's my favorite genre. So yeah, I'd love to hear about it.
Oh God, this is video game, the game. No, this is Stories, the Path of Destinies.
It's such a bad. This is game Heroes of Adventure.
Don't. I have been fighting with people for the last week trying to convince them to give this game a chance because it is really good. I just wish it had a different name, like Foxman Goes on an Adventure, or like Branching Paths Video Game RPG.
Okay, you realize both of those are actually also terrible. Maybe this is much harder than we thought. Tell me about Stories, Path of Destinies.
So, Stories, the Path of Destinies is about a fox named Renardo who is with the rebellion against this big empire. And you are basically choosing these paths as you go through your journey. And a lot of them, most of them actually, end in death. And at the point of your death, you realize that you can go back with the knowledge that you have gained while you went on that particular path and make a different choice. So it takes branching gameplay, but in this kind of meta-narrative of reading a magic book, the stories, if you will,
Sure.
giving you all these different ways to move
all
through
these
the
different
world.
paths of destinies. That makes sense. So it's kind of got like a source code kind of Groundhog Day thing going on, where like
Oh God, It's so Groundhog Day. Yeah, he'll like die and then realize, perhaps that was just a vision of what I should not have done. And it's really funny. Like the narration style, it's read to you as if you were hearing a story from this like kindly old narrator. And it's just like really clever and witty, which makes me wonder why in the world it's called Stories, the Path of Destinies.
So what's the gameplay like? I'm looking at it, trying to get a feel for it. Is it kind of Diablo-y? It seems like maybe a little bit faster, a little more like Twitch action oriented than that.
The gameplay is a lot of fun. There are some kind of limited button combos. So this is actually the crafting system that we are looking at right now. As you go, you collect all the ore and elemental items, and you can craft different swords, and there are different doors that you can open with those swords. And then in the combat, there are all these different, you have your sword, you have a hook that you can use to grab enemies and drag them closer to you. There's a countering mechanism that you can use to block attacks. And new enemies are gradually being introduced, as, video games do along the way. I almost wish that different enemies were introduced faster. So these are kind of the typical enemies. These are the ravens that work for the evil emperor, and I'm blocking attacks there and zipping around. There's a dash that you can use to run through them. And then there are other enemies. There are some that like explode after a certain amount of time. This is a wizard that will after one hit, he'll like zip to another part of the battlefield, like you see there, and then I have to go find him again. But if I'm within that ring of his spell when it goes off, then I get a lot of damage.
That looks really cool. That looked kind of like a isometric, like the Batman games that have that like quick combo, like dashing between enemies and dash dodging away from their attacks.
Combat is so satisfying. Like it's relatively simple, but there's just something that is really fun about it. Like I feel really good when I win a battle. This is another enemy with the big shield, so I can't really attack him unless I get rid of his shield somehow.
Can you hook it?
I can't hook it until I get an upgrade to my skills. So I'm picking up the bigger ravens and throwing them at him to get rid of his shield. And that's cool. It's so pretty. That's another thing that I absolutely love about it. Like, it's freaking gorgeous. And the branching paths, like I surprisingly enjoyed them. So we're seeing now these are the stories. There are so many. There are so many. I played this game for like 4 hours. And so as you go, you like I said before, you learn a truth about whatever path you just went on. And I kind of breezed over it because I didn't want to spoil anyone. But after that first mistake that I made, I retained that knowledge of what that mistake was. And I can still go back and make the choice to go on that wrong path with the knowledge of what I have learned about why it's wrong.
I wish there were more pylons he could use the hook on. They really needed to construct additional pylons.
I played it on PC here at work, and I think I'm gonna get it for my PS4 at home because I have just really enjoyed my time with it. It's really soothing. There's something like it's a classic like rollicking adventure story, and it
Sure.
makes me happy to play.
Do you keep like the levels that you get and like the experience and items that you find in the
Yep.
paths that end up not working out for you?
You keep your sword, you keep all your crafting loot, you keep your knowledge of everything. So you're pretty much as advanced as you were when you made that horrible mistake that you should never have made.
Huh, that's cool.
Yeah. And the choices actually are surprisingly, like there was the second path I took, I really, really thought that I was doing the right thing and like I was gonna get it. I made my way to the Emperor. I was like, this is it. I'm gonna beat this game in two choices, two paths. Wrong. So wrong. So freaking wrong. So this is kind of one of the cutscenes where we're seeing two of the choices that I could potentially make.
Okay.
Along the way, and all the cutscenes are told like in this beautiful storybook style with these lovely inky drawings.
Is that a D20?
Yes. You roll that and you can win the game, or you could die. Have I sold it to you? Have I made you overcome your reluctance at the title?
Well, here's the thing. The title's very bad. I'm very much into foxes, the animal. Probably one of my favorites. I like swords and I like dashing. And I feel like this game's going to scratch a lot of those itches. Been playing a lot of Hyper Light Drifters because of all the dashing, but there's not enough foxes in that one. So this one seems like it's going to really split the uprights of my
This is a very
desires.
clever fox. He's a fantastic little fellow.
How many times has he jumped over a lazy dog?
Not enough by my count. But I haven't finished it yet, so that could be a path. I mean, maybe that's a mistake. Maybe you shouldn't jump over the lazy dog. Like maybe you should respect that dog.
That's a good point. I've never really thought of it that way.
Don't disrespect the dog.